Hello everyone. In this episode I'm going to be speaking about the Spanish Grand Prix, and I'm going to be speaking about my opinions and how I felt about the race, and I'm going to be speaking every detail I could possibly cover. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So we we started off the weekend with Sergio Perez coming back COVID free, so that meant we didn't need Nico Hulkenberg yet, sadly. But yeah, that's good news that he's better now and he's COVID free. So let's jump right into the quali results. So we started with Lewis Hamilton on pole, followed up by Valtteri Bottas, Max Verstappen, and then Sergio Perez in fourth place, with Lance Stroll in fifth for quali, and then followed up by Alexander Albon, Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Pierre Gasly, Sebastian Vettel, Daniel Kvyat, uh, Daniel Ricciardo, Kimi Raikkonen, Esteban Ocon, Kevin Magnussen, Romain Grosjean, George Russell, Nicholas Latifi, and last but not least, Antonio Giovinazzi. So let's go into the race, and I will be speaking about my opinions on the race. And so, one word which I would like to uh, speak about the races was like it was a bit disappointing because I mean let's see, because let's talk about every scenario, right? They do testing every year before the race in Feb, testing, pre-season testing, and imagine the amount of laps these guys do every time on the same track. So over 10 years, let's say with Hamilton, they've been using the Spanish, the Catalonia racetrack for a long time now. So imagine the amount of laps accumulated in 10 years. So that would be almost 1,000 laps, let's say, for Hamilton, giving an example. So these guys must know it like the back of their hands, right? The amount of laps they're doing, and because some are test drivers who became drivers for the real team. And it's a bit disappointing, the race. There wasn't that much action. In the midfield, there was a bit of action, but Hamilton just strolled in and he won the race, right? So lap one, I was surprised that Lance Stroll got a better start and he overtook Valtteri Bottas, moving into fourth place. And it's like they got a quick start just like this. And Sergio Perez, right after we got into turn one and then turn two, Sergio Perez went for a look and tried to overtake him, but nicely Valtteri Bottas defended very well. And then lap 22, um, so Verstappen pitted, right, and it was like a 1.9 second pit. That was really quick, right? And then lap 24, I don't exactly know what happened with Hamilton, but it's like the rear left, what do you call it, to put in the tires and stuff like that. It didn't really go in. Then they double stacked with Valtteri Bottas coming in the pit. And I don't know if it was the smartest of ideas, because after Verstappen just took in and overtook overtook Bottas. And then moving on, I think it was lap 33 or something like that. Lando and Charles Leclerc was fighting for 12th, I mean 11th, and then Charles Leclerc, I want to speak for him about him for a second. I don't know what exactly happened to his car. I think midway through the corner, his engine just stopped, and yeah, that's what happened. It's like you just cranked the handbrake and just turned. And then after that, it's like his car broke down and he had to retire, of course. But yeah, it was overall, I feel like he could have done very well and maybe finished top 5 probably. But yeah, unfortunately he had to retire because of his car failing. And then I want to move on to the race results and how I feel about the drivers and that type of aspect. So one driver who I really want to talk about this time is Vettel. Vettel hasn't had the greatest start of the year so far, but seventh place might inspire him more or motivate him more to do this, right? Because it's all about motivation and discipline and consistency. because every second counts, right? A millisecond counts and all of that, right? So yeah, I feel like I voted him driver of the day easily, and it was a pretty good drive from him. P7, awesome results from him because he's been finishing lower, either P10 or lower, and yeah, I feel like that's a good idea. And I wanna still on the same topic as Vettel, just his after 2021, what's his plans after this season. So there are rumors of him moving to Racing Point, which next year will be Aston Martin Racing because Lawrence Stroll bought shares in Aston Martin, and Lance Stroll, Lawrence Stroll, yeah, you get the point, right? So I don't know who is gonna be losing the seat, right? I'm just trying to make a prediction or just saying, right? Because there have been plenty rumors that he will either move to Racing Point, but who exactly will have to lose their seat? Because first, Lance Stroll is giving and providing money, right? So he's a paid driver, right? He got in his way through money because of his dad. And I'm not criticizing him. I see that he's a pretty good driver that he can actually chase, but his qualifying is not the best, right? But from what I'm seeing right now, it's like he's getting better and better each race. And Sergio Perez, he's an outstanding driver with many podiums, and I don't actually see Vettel moving to. I don't see him moving to a midfield team because it will be such a foreign territory for him. Because it's unlike him. Yeah, early in his career, in the earlier stages of his career, he was with Toro Rosso, but still he made his first win with Toro Rosso, right? So but that was like in 2007 and all that, right? So I don't particularly think that it's gonna happen, his move to Racing Point or so-called Aston Martin Racing. So I don't really see him moving into a midfield team, but hopefully this season he can improve himself, and yeah, I hope to see him improving. And let's move on to the other drivers. So Hamilton had an easy race. It was pretty easy. He had the lead the whole time. Nobody really tried to overtake him. It was pretty easy for him. Uh, it was like a stroll in the park. He was in first place throughout the race, and then to the end of the race, there was a 25-second gap with Hamilton and Verstappen, which is crazy, because there would be no chance that he would actually get in front, and it's I think his fifth consecutive win, or fourth actually, fifth I think, yeah, fifth win in a row in Spain I think it is. No, his fifth win only. So yeah, I feel like Hamilton is getting up and up and improving himself no matter what. If he loses a race, he keeps on improving, and like what we saw in Silverstone, that was such an awesome, I don't know what to call it, because he drove on three wheels. So it's crazy. Imagine one spark and it goes to the engine or something like that. There's a huge risk of an accident, or it's a very life threatening risk, right? And I want to talk about how all these drivers have a certain point of moving on, and either if they get a bad result, they try and they get back up. Because think about it, there are two races in two and every week, right? So one race in 1 week, that's 3 days, that's a weekend, and then we got another race, but then there's one break, right? But actually there is no break for the drivers and team. They have to keep on moving and being consistent, because Formula One is such a big sport, right? You cannot have you have breaks that where you can actually get breaks, but after the race you cannot think, oh, let's relax and because we won or we got a good result. No, we have to keep on fighting, and that's what I think that's moving Hamilton, right? He has beaten various records. He just beat Schumacher's record of the most podiums. Now it's 156. That's a lot. That's like, and right now he just increased his lead in the championship. And say if he lost a race, would he be in much trouble? No, right? Yet he keeps on trying, and even though if you get a good result, because now we see Mercedes getting a 1-2 almost every race, right? And I feel like they're doing great after their comeback in 2012 or 2013, I think. That was great of how their comeback now, six-time world champions, and I'm sure they'll get the seventh or even an eighth. And I don't see Hamilton retiring anytime soon at all. He keeps on going, he pushes himself, and that's what I really like about him, right? It's all about discipline. Discipline is everything and a daily thing, and especially in Formula One or in a motorsport or say any sport, there has to be a discipline, and this is what Hamilton and all the drivers follow: discipline, because they follow this routine and they follow this way of moving and things like that. And yeah, I feel like being a Formula One driver is amazing and a lot of work and a lot of mind work. Um, yeah, and that's my thought on the race. Um, but yeah, it wasn't that great of a race or too exciting like we had in Silverstone and in Austria. But yeah, it was a pretty good race. But like I said, they do the season testing, and it's kind of getting it's like they have it in their memory, right? It's like, oh, I gotta turn, I gotta hit the apex or whatever like that. So it's like it's embedded in their brain, like they know it like the back of their hand. So I feel like maybe once in a while they should move the tracks, because right now it's pretty easy and it's not that um, hard for them to win or get a good result, because it's Spain, right? And yeah, so that's my opinion, and thank you all for watching, and leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Wishing you all the best.